morning again. I am back. This is Teacher Judy. I'm going to teach you on some of the questions that you can ask and how to answer them and what they mean. So I'm going to give you explanation. So today we are going to learn interrogative words and question words. Interrogative words or question words. So, interrogative words or question words. So which are these words? These are words used to ask questions. So interrogative words are words used to ask questions. Interrogative words are words used to ask questions. Interrogative words are words used to ask questions. Which are these? These are words that we call the WH words, which are who, why, where, which, and so on, etc. Many more, okay? So these words, how they're also called WH words, and they most start with WH. So if you have noticed the meaning they are called WH words, it's because they always start with WH, but not all words that start with WH are WH words, okay? So I'm going to teach you some others which are not starting with WH words but are also WH words and interrogative questions, words for questions, okay? So let's start with the question who. Who is asked when you want to ask about a person. When you want to ask about a person. And then we have the question where. Where is when you want to ask about a position or place. A position or place. Where is when you want to ask about a position or place. And then we have when. When is when you want to ask about time. Okay? When you want to ask about time, occasion, or moment. Or moment. When. And then we have the word why. Why is when you're asking for a reason or an explanation. So why is when you're asking about a reason or an explanation. And then we have the word what. What is when you're asking for a specific thing or object. A specific thing or object. When you're asking about a specific thing or object. And then we have the question which. So when someone asks the question with the word which, they're asking you either to make a choice or an alternative. Either for you to make a choice or make an alternative. They're asking you to make a choice or to make an alternative. And then we have question of whose. Whose. So when you ask the word whose, it is used to talk about who is the possessor of something or who does this thing belong to. So possessor, to ask about the possessor or who it belongs to. the possessor of something or who it belongs to. And then we have the word how. How. Now you notice how doesn't have WH, but it is also an interrogative word. And it is supposed to ask way, manner, or form. When you're asking about a way of something, manner of it, or form. So, when you're asking about form, you have three ways in which you can ask those questions. So, when you're asking here about the form, there are three ways of how many, the form, how much, and how often. So you have three forms of asking those questions. Now, I am going to give you examples of questions to ask when you're using these specific words. For example, I said who is when you're asking for a person. And then, for example, who is calling? That's a question. Who is calling? So I am asking who is that person who is calling you? Okay? Or who will reach the phone first? I'm asking which person is going to be the first one to get to the phone. And then we have a question of why, where. Where we said it's a position or place. Where should I go? A place. Where should I go? So that is describing a place. Where is she standing? That is describing a position. Where is she standing? So, for example, the answer of where is she standing, you say she's standing next to the door. So that is the position where that person is standing. Where will I go? So you can actually say you can go to Chiang Mai, or you can go wherever that you want that person to go. Okay? And then we have a question of when. When can I go to vacation? When can I go to vacation? So that is about time. When can I go for vacation? For example, you can say you'll go on vacation on April, or you'll go on vacation on Monday to Friday. So that is time. And then you can ask on occasion, when is your wedding? So when you're asking about an occasion, when is your wedding? Oh, my wedding is on December. Kidding. But anyway, when is your wedding? When is your wedding? I see. You should invite me. Anyway, when we're asking about a moment, you say, when did you get sick? So that moment, which moment did you get sick, okay? Or when did you fall? If you had an accident with a motorcycle and you ask, when did this happen? So that is when you're asking about the moment that something happened, and they would answer, for example, yesterday at 2 p.m. So that exact moment is when that certain thing happened, okay? And then we have a question of why. A question of why, we said you have to give a reason and an explanation. For example, when you're giving a reason, is because you're giving a reason to something. For example, why are you angry? And then after, you're going to tell me because. So this answer you asked actually starts with the word because. Why are you angry? Because I had an argument, or I had a big fight with my brother. Why are you angry? And then if you were in a party and you wanted to leave early, and then you go ahead and say goodbye to people and they're not ready to go home, and then they ask you, why are you going home? And then you can give them an explanation and say, because I have to wake up early tomorrow. Or you can also add, because it is a positive answer, you can also say so, and then followed by that, so, and then followed by that, so that I can wake up early tomorrow morning. Okay? And then we have a question of what. So a question of what, we say that it is a specific thing or object. What is making that sound? For example, if this happened, and then I ask, what is making that sound? The teacher is making that sound by stamping on the table. Okay, so if I say, what is I'm asking for a specific thing, and then I ask, what was that? And because an aeroplane moved around, and say, what was that? Oh, that's an aeroplane. Okay, so let's go to the question which we said it's going to make a choice or an alternative. What do I mean by alternative or choice? So a choice, which dish should I choose? So if I ask, which dish should I choose, or which meal should I choose? So that is making a choice. So you have a lot of things that you can choose one from. Okay, for example, which coffee should I drink? Cappuccino, iced coffee? So you make a choice among 5 or 6 items. And when you're making an alternative is when, for example, I ask, I would like a cappuccino, and then they say, no, I'm sorry, but we don't have cappuccino today. Then I make an alternative, and then I will ask, which type of coffee do you have? So I'll make an alternative and choose something else. Okay, and then you have the word whose. So we say whose is for someone who has possessed something. You would ask a question like, whose pen is this? So it means who does this pen belong to? Okay, so for example, who is the possessor of this pen? And I would answer, whose pen is this? Oh, that is the teacher's pen. Okay, or I would ask, whose whiteboard is this? Oh, that whiteboard belongs to Language Learning Center. Okay, so let's make a sentence of each. So let's go to how. How, we said how has way, manner, and form. So for example, a way is when you're asking yourself how you're going to do something. For example, how do I make the babies to stop crying? For example, you don't know how to tell the baby keep quiet, or you have tried and they're not keeping quiet, and you ask the other person, how do I make the baby keep quiet, or how do I make the baby go to sleep? Okay, so that is question form of how in a way. Okay, question form in form of how in a form is how many pens do you have, or how many rooms do you have in your house? So that is how many. And then how much. Let's ask the word how much. How much is your t-shirt? How much is your t-shirt? Very good. So when I ask how much, I'm actually asking about money. But if I ask how many, I'm asking you to count in numbers. So in 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if I ask how much, it's according to how much money did you buy it. So let's try this again. How many phones do you have? Very good. How much is your phone? Very good. Now, how often you ask it when you're asking how many times you do something. So for example, how often do you go to Chiang Mai? One, you can say one time, or once, twice, thrice, or once in a year, twice in a month. So once means 1, twice means 2, thrice means 3. Okay, and if I say monthly, it means once in a month. It means monthly, once in a month. But if I say annually, it means once in a year. Once in a year. Okay, so how often do you go to Chiang Rai? Very good. How often do you go to Bangkok? Oh, very good. So let's continue. There is how of manner. manner is meaning like how are you going to do something. Like for example, how do you go from work to school, or from work to home, or from work to school? I go by bus, I go by aeroplane. Or how do you go to Chiang Mai? I go by the van, or I fly to Bangkok. Okay, so that is the manner of doing something. So let's see, we discussed on who. It means person, where, position, and very good, when, time, occasion, or very good, you're a fast learner. Why, reason, and explanation. Okay, and we said with the question why, you have to use the question because, and if it is a positive answer, you have to you can use the word so that. Okay, you can use so that, and then you give your reason, and then you have the question what, WH word what, meaning a specific thing or object. Very good. And then we have the question which makes you to give a choice or alternative. Very good. And then you have whose for, yes, possessor, or meaning it belongs to a certain person. Okay, and then we have how. And then we have how. We can have way, manner, and form. And in form we have three types of forms to ask. For example, how many, how much, and how often. And we said if I ask the question with how many, what do I mean? You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it is how much, it is with money. Very good. So you have to use the money, bahts, dollars, according to the currency, euros. So you can say how much is your phone? 2,000 baht, or you can say $2,000. Okay, according to how much you bought it. And how often, it's with time. And time, you said you can say 1 is once. Very good. 2 is twice. Very good. 3 is thrice. And if it is once a month, monthly. Very good. And once a year, annually. Very good. So this has been a great lesson. Please, homework, use to make sentences or to make your own questions using the word who, where, when, why, what, which, whose, and how. And please try to make sure you make in different forms of question. If it is position and place, make sure you make 1 and 1 to just make sure you understand it better. Okay, thank you for watching and thank you for having this lesson with me. See you next time. Bye.